Hey, Coach.
Afternoon.
Just wanted to ask you, I know Ryan has started his 21-day practice period. What are your expectations, if any, and what is it like just to have him back out there, right? Just the lift you get from seeing him?
Well, we don't have any expectations on him. It's part of his rehab process, but having him out there and seeing him out there is a big lift for the guys. And, you know, he was the anchor and he was the attitude guy when he was here, so just having him out there is a big lift.
Is there any chance, any possibility that he could play this week?
No.
To see both Smith and Works out there, I know they were kind of concerned injury-wise on both tackles. How encouraging is it to start the week with both practices?
It's early. You know, we'll see how it goes. It was kind of light today, so we'll see once we get into it tomorrow and Friday and see exactly where they are.
Is there any chance that he could possibly play next week? I know that there's so many unknowns here, but or would the goal more so be for him just to try to get back to the postseason if you guys are?
Well, the goal for him to get healthy. This is all part of his rehab right now. We're not even thinking about him getting in pads at this point. You know, as he's day to day, as it progresses, we'll have more to report. But right now, he's just happy to be out there running, so doing something, and that's good for him. And it's a good lift for him. It's a good lift for the guys.
And what was his official diagnosis? I know there was a delay in kind of a diagnosis because of the swelling there.
Well, he still has a bad knee. You know, I ain't gonna get into the specifics of it, but you know, we'll see what he can tolerate and what he can't.
Can you detect, Todd, even this early in the week, kind of a heightened sense of urgency considering the magnitude of this game?
It was a heightened sense after the game Sunday, so we understand what the game means. You know, trying to win a division's not easy. They're coming in here. They're a tough team to play. We just got to prepare mentally and be ready to play on Sunday.
To know that if you win Sunday, you're in and you have a whole playoff game, does it have almost as much urgency as a playoff game would because so much is on the line?
Well, it is a playoff game. You know, they need it and we need it, so it's essentially a playoff game. Our playoff game started last Sunday when we won, so this Sunday will be the same.
When you think of Week 7 and the first Carolina game, is there, if I asked you where this team is most different from the one that played that day, what would you say?
I would think we're mentally tougher. You know, I think we're mentally tougher, hopefully a little bit smarter, and understanding what we need to do to win.
What have you seen from Carolina, just the way they've evolved under Steve Wilkes these last few weeks?
They've done a great job stopping the run and getting turnovers and getting off the field. They've done an outstanding job running the football. Sam's done a great job getting plays down the field as well. The runners are playing well. They got playmakers all over the place. They have a lot of confidence, and they've been playing some good ball.
Todd, the Ravens and the Steelers did a very good job of shutting down Carolina's run game in both of those victories over the Panthers. Do you look at what other teams do to stop Carolina's running attack, or are you more focused on, well, this is our scheme and what we have to do in terms of preparing the game plan?
Well, you always look at other teams they play. You know, you see how they played them. Now, whether you have the same type of team those teams have, you have to take that into consideration. If you can use something, you always try to use it. But if not, you kind of go with your plan. But you see things and you watch games all year and try to figure out how to stop people.
Off-target throws can be kind of subjective. I counted like 9 from Tom in that game. How much of by that game I meant the Cardinals game, how much of those are from just not necessarily having a stable pocket to deal with being under duress with a guy like J.J. Watt? How much of that is just him, for whatever reason, mechanically just not executing?
I would have to go back and watch those 9 you're talking about. I mean, I can't sit here and say what is what, whether it was J.J., the line, or whether he misfired. I would have to go back and see the 9 plays.
Or even like the 2 interceptions, for instance. I know on one of them, I think they were both underthrows, but like the first one, it looked like he was hit as he was trying to throw to Mike, but you know, it also looked like Mike maybe wasn't even expecting it. I don't know if that's what you recall.
He was hit when he was thrown. It was an underthrown ball. I mean, it had nothing to do with Mike. It was just the pressure that got there and an underthrown ball.
How much of their kicking game, Todd, Carolina's kicking game, is part of their formula for success, field position, pin teams back, and they've got some fortes at kicking?
I think they did an outstanding job in the first game of having field position on us, punting us, keeping us backed up. Even the kickoffs were going out of the end zone, and that played a big part. Their punter did an outstanding job of placing the ball, did an outstanding job of keeping us backed up.
Guy's been good for a long time, right?
Yes, he has.
Todd, you guys have gotten by with only 2 outside linebackers the last 2 games. I know that's not ideal. Is Nassib in play for this week at all?
He did some things today. We're just going to monitor him more during the week and see how he feels. But he's getting better.
Sorry, to add Odenebo, would he be a guy who could pick things up quickly enough he could be elevated and play something?
Well, he has play snaps. You know, he can do some things with some play snaps, but we still got to see who's healthy and who can play and who can't play before we try to dive into just the outside backers.
Can you speak to what Joe and Anthony have given you the last 2 games, playing all those snaps like they have?
Well, they played tough. You know, they played a lot of snaps. They played tough. They're young guys. They can use the leg work. Just keeping them healthy, and the experience is doing them wonders, both of them, in the run game as well as the pass game, and they're gaining pass rush moves as they go, facing different tackles and different blocking schemes every week. I think the experience for them has been great.
Todd, is there any sense of Vita Vea's availability for this game?
We'll see how he does during the week. You know, we'll come out tomorrow and see where he is.
What's your feelings about Bruce going into the Ring of Honor on Sunday?
I think it's outstanding. You know, he's a legendary coach. He's been at it a long time. A lot of accolades. You know, there's really not many more or much more accolades than getting your name put on the stadium. It means you've done a heck of a job as a coach. You know, really that's very rare.
Talk about how he put his stamp on this organization when he came in 2019.
Well, Bruce came in, you know, he's very confident, understands exactly what he wants to do, how he has to do it, what he needs to do. He doesn't have to think that much. He's been around this game a long time. He's learned a lot of things along the way. He's given a lot of advice along the way. And just his attitude and his persona around the building makes, and even around the city, made everything comfortable when we first came in here. Brought in guys he trusts, gave them complete control of what they do. Gives you a lot of confidence, can get in your face at the same time. He's brought the Kango hat back in here, so he has his own style and he does things his own way, and I think that's impressive.
And diversity is part of his legacy too, right?
Diversity is a big part of his legacy. There's a lot of us in here, male, female, different ethnicities and everything else that, he tried to leave a mark on, and he tried to do the right thing all the time. So, he's a great man.
When you get to this game, right, it's one game to win a division, just where you want to be. Maybe not this late in the year, you'd like to have a 4 or 5 game clinch already, but does it matter how you're playing? Does it matter how you do it? Do you have a feel for your team? Is suddenly going to turn the corner, and if you get in the postseason, roll from there? Or, because you're still not scoring a lot of points. You've had some slow starts, still struggled, had to come back again against the Cardinals. Does that matter how you're playing, or just?
You just got to win and get in. You don't have to win pretty. You don't have to win by 40. Don't have to win by 10. If you win by 1 and you get in, that makes everything all right.
Todd, when you look at, in fact, you've been here since 2019, and now you're the head coach, almost the head coach for the entire football season. Teams will take on the personality of their head coach. How has the personality of the Buccaneers changed under your leadership as opposed to Bruce's this season?
I think it's still changing. Once you take over a team that late and you keep everything in place, you have to change it gradually. To make a sudden change with a team that has success would be asinine on my part. You don't try to coach to do things differently than your predecessor, no matter how great he was. You find tweaks along the way. It's a different type of team, and you try to tweak it along the way to make sure everybody's on the same page, and it gradually changes. You don't try to say, here I am right now. I'm the head coach, but at the same time, I have to see how everything works from my view and tweak some things along the way. Being here 4 years has helped me do that. I understand the guys a lot more and a lot better, so still tweaking some things, getting it to how we want it.
When you say tweaks, what's a top-of-mind tweak that you've seen in terms of this personality of this team evolve this year?
Toughness, mental toughness. We have mental toughness. We just got to play smarter. I think we show up. I think they've hung together like we have been. And the mental toughness part is really starting to show, especially with some guys playing injured, which every team has. But, they fight through it and they play and they move on. They don't make excuses.
Anything else?
Thanks.